Our next topic is going to be about Cyberpunk 2077, one of my most anticipated games of the entire year, guys. I think it's really on many of our lists as a game that it's like, look, this could be absolutely huge. This could be game-changing. It could be huge. Let's put it that way. And everyone's been talking about it. We're all very excited. Now, you guys know me. We talked about it in our last segment of the show. We talked about how multiplayer and how having a full package is a really big deal, at least to myself, and I know it's a big deal to a lot of you guys out there as well. Well, Cyberpunk 2077, we're going to talk about the multiplayer of the game and how it eventually is going to come. And we're going to talk about the good things and the bad things that come with that statement. So let's talk about it. In an article from PC Gamer, once again, from Ian Bourdre, he posted an article, guys, talking about how the multiplayer will arrive only once all single-player content is done. So CD Projekt Red, which, by the way, CD Projekt Red, guys, is becoming one of the best, game developers in the world, and I don't think there's any debate there. I mean, they are significantly trying to compete against guys of the nature of, like, Naughty Dog and some of these other, developers out there, and it's going to be exciting to see how this all kind of, like, pans out as we kind of move forward with Cyberpunk 2077 and then into maybe a Witcher 4 and other games that CD Projekt Red is maybe thinking about working on. But CD Projekt Red has officially confirmed that Cyberpunk 2077 will have a multiplayer component, but only once the studio has finished delivering all planned single-player content for the game. The Cyberpunk 2077 Twitter account announced confirmation this morning. So until now, from CD Projekt Red's Twitter account, until now, the only thing we said about multiplayer was that it was in R&D. As we're getting closer to launching single-player Cyberpunk 2077 in April of 2020, we'd like to confirm that multiplayer's in the works. If you feel like lending us your skills, you can apply here. And then CD Projekt Red included a link to its careers page in the tweet and is currently hiring for 8 multiplayer-focused jobs at its Rowclaw studio. These include a 3D character artist, design director, network programmer, senior gameplay programmer, and more. The company also provided a rough post-launch roadmap for Cyberpunk 2077. So look, right off the bat, this is really positive when you think about the simple fact that CD Projekt Red, they're seeking people to come into work for the company from a multiplayer perspective. So, when I know a lot of people were kind of stating when they started hearing rumblings that a multiplayer was coming from CD Projekt Red, a lot of people said there's no way, they've never worked on a multiplayer before. Like the Witcher games don't have a multiplayer. They're probably not working on a multiplayer for Cyberpunk. They're probably just doing a single player story. Maybe they're going to add, DLC and, things of that nature. However, when they, posting this shows that they're serious about the multiplayer, but they are obviously more focused on the single player than that of the multiplayer. And so to me, you kind of wonder a few things here. Number one is that it kind of is a little bit concerning to me when you hear that obviously a developer is kind of going into uncharted territory, even though I'm very excited and I want them to do that, because I think that they could come up with something pretty creative for multiplayer, even if it was just like team deathmatch or something like that, PvP or PvE, whatever it is. But the other thing is that, when you haven't worked on a multiplayer before, it's going to take a little while to, to kind of figure those things out, I guess you could say. And the other thing is that it's not coming at launch. It's coming, later on. And so when you think on a second front, like how long are we going to have to wait for a multiplayer for Cyberpunk to come out? And so my concern with that is that is Cyberpunk 2077, the single player, is that going to keep us, kind of parch our thirst for a long enough period of time before, the multiplayer comes out. Now, I'm not saying that certainly Cyberpunk 2077 is going to probably have a ton of content single player for us to absorb and take in, and then updates and all of that is going to be coming out. But really, when you think about it, I'm saying if a multiplayer came out right when the game came out and the multiplayer was good, it's going to keep people coming back over and over and over again. Now, I know games like The Witcher, people come back to those games over and over again, which is fantastic. So Cyberpunk, I'm not expecting people to like leave, but I think that it may not reach its full potential because they don't have a multiplayer at launch, which is really unfortunate to me because I think that this could be absolutely massive, guys. I mean, we're talking a massive game here. And I think it's going to be very big. I really do. There's a ton of hype around Cyberpunk. Don't get me wrong, and I'm super excited about it. I just wonder about. I'm just a little bit concerned about, is it going to, somewhat have growing pains, as they kind of go through this, and are they going to lose some of the player base after some people beat the campaign, or whatever the case might be? Are there going to be a lot of people coming back to it before the multiplayer comes out? And so there's a big question mark there. I would love to hear from you guys, though, in the comment section below. What do you guys think about that? The plan for now is to deliver Cyberpunk 2077 in April, then follow up with DLCs, which are free, which is huge, and single-player content. And once we're done, invite you for some multiplayer action, CD Projekt Red tweeted in a follow-up. It's not any massive surprise that multiplayer will eventually arrive in Cyberpunk 2077, as CD Projekt has been hinting at it for years. Last year, the company brought multiplayer specialist Digital Scapes on board in a long-term strategic cooperation on the game. Digital Scrapes previously worked on Dying Light's multiplayer component, Be the Zombie. So Dying Light, though, multiplayer, I mean, look, I'm not going to say Dying Light's multiplayer wasn't good. It was different, right? But I don't know. You just kind of wonder, okay, so you hear that, okay, so Digital Scapes, they worked on, Dying Light's multiplayer component. So what is, you kind of start wondering, like, you're trying to envision in your mind, okay, what is Cyberpunk 2077 going to look like if we go based on what some of these guys have worked on in the past? And, obviously we can only go based on the past, guys, as to what might happen in the future. It may be completely different, obviously, but you kind of wonder about those things. Fans have expressed concern over the potential for microtransactions in a multiplayer game, particularly after CD Projekt's CEO suggested online elements will be crucial to Cyberpunk 2077's long-term success. But the company says not to worry, going so far as to put an FAQ as background text into Cyberpunk's 2018 E3 trailer that read, "On the question of microtransactions in a single-player role-playing game, are you nuts?" Now, look, guys, we've heard this before, that there weren't going to be, microtransactions in the game, and then there ends up being microtransactions one way or another. And I've said this on many occasions, guys. I don't really have any problems with microtransactions as a whole because I never really got sucked into buying stuff as far as within the game. I like to earn things within the game. That's just kind of how I am, the kind of player I am. And I've been playing video games for a while. And so, I played in a time where there were no, microtransactions. That being said, though, I just don't want there to be microtransactions that are, deceptive to the consumer or give you a competitive advantage in multiplayer or whatever, kind of co-op modes, whatever they might add to the game. That's all I ask, is I just don't want that. I don't want there to be these pay-to-win schemes and tactics. And, obviously, if the game was free, then I would be very much more on board with the microtransactions, similar to that of like Fortnite and games like Apex Legends. But look, we all know the developers have to make money, and they're going to make a lot of money off of Cyberpunk just because it's CD Projekt Red. It's being followed up from, obviously The Witcher 3. People are wondering, is this going to be the future of CD Projekt Red as far as like, I think I'll be working on CD Projekt Red now for the foreseeable future, especially because of the ending of The Witcher 3. Like, are they coming back to The Witcher, or are they just going to continue moving forward with Cyberpunk? It's hard to say. I think a lot of it has to do with the Cyberpunk success, obviously. But guys, there's a lot of good things here that I'm excited about with Cyberpunk because I think that this could be a very good multiplayer game. But it's very hard to say, like, how long is it going to be until we actually would see a multiplayer component to Cyberpunk 2077. I'm sure there's going to be a ton, hours upon hours upon hours, to put into the game itself. And it sounds like CD Projekt Red has put everything that they could into this game. But you just got to wonder. You have to wonder, is this going to be sustainable of a massive player base up until the multiplayer comes? What if the multiplayer doesn't come 6 months, a year afterwards? It's hard to say how long it might be. Now, if we're talking a couple of months, it might not be that big of a deal whatsoever. But to bring people back into a game, guys, and have a very solid fan base, sure, you're going to have a lot of those people from The Witcher coming over to play Cyberpunk, and you might be creating your own, big fan base that just loves Cyberpunk. But at the same time, you want to start, bringing people back to the game in more ways than just one, more ways than just, single player, bringing people in from multiplayer, bringing people in from like different co-op modes. So I hope and I trust CD Projekt Red. I really do. I think that they're a fantastic company, one of the best companies in all of gaming. I'm excited to see what they have, what they're cooking up here with CD Projekt Red, and with Cyberpunk 2077. I'm excited about it, and I hope you guys all are as well. I have a lot more content that's going to be coming based around Cyberpunk 2077, so stay tuned for that, guys. But what do you guys think about this? Are you guys excited about the multiplayer and what might be coming here in the foreseeable future? Let me know what you guys think, and I will keep you guys all up to speed as more information comes out.